Throughout history, some leaders have shaped their nations with iron wills, controversial policies, and actions that left the world reeling. Whether through war, dictatorship, today we're diving into the 5 most dangerous presidents to ever hold power, or decisions that reshaped history. These leaders commanded fear and respect in equal measure. But what did they do that earned them this dangerous reputation? Let's find out. The 5 most dangerous presidents to ever rule. 1. Adolf Hitler of the Nazis Germany. Our first figure isn't technically called a president by modern standards, but Adolf Hitler served as the FHR of Germany, a combined president and chancellor role, and his leadership plunged the world into World War II. Rose to power in 1933 through propaganda and suppression of opposition, expanded Nazi ideology, leading to the persecution and genocide of millions, including 6 million Jewish people in the Holocaust, initiated World War II, resulting in the deaths of over 70 million people globally. Hitler's actions as leader of Germany stand as a grim warning of how unchecked power and dangerous ideologies can lead to global devastation.
A new and greater right will rise from the ashes. Every German will have a job and bread, and the hopeless and hungry masses respond.
2. Joseph Stalin's Soviet Union. Next on our list is Joseph Stalin, leader of the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until his death in 1953. Stalin's reign was marked by absolute control, mass purges, and terror. Instituted the Great Purge, 1936 to 1938, where millions were executed or sent to gulags. Forced collectivization of agriculture, leading to the Holodomor famine in Ukraine, which killed millions. Controlled media, speech, and dissent, turning the USSR into a surveillance state, while Stalin modernized the Soviet economy and played a major role in defeating Nazi Germany. The cost of his leadership came in human suffering and widespread fear. With the fall of the Tsar and the Bolsheviks seizing power, Stalin joined Lenin's inner circle. He quickly proved himself ruthless, serving as Commissar for Nationalities and overseeing Red Army operations during the Russian Civil War. Stalin's rule was marked by paranoia and brutality. Fearing dissent, he orchestrated the Great Purges, eliminating political rivals, military leaders, and ordinary citizens accused of counter-revolutionary activities. By the late 1930s, millions had been executed or sent to the gulags. Stalin had created a climate of fear, cementing his absolute power. In 1941, Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union brought the country to the brink of collapse. Stalin rallied the nation, ordering a scorched earth policy and relentless resistance. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad became a turning point in the war. 3. Pol Pot, Cambodia. Pol Pot, leader of the Khmer Rouge and de facto ruler of Cambodia between 1975 and 1979, brought his nation to its knees in one of the most brutal genocides in history. Implemented radical communist policies, including the forced evacuation of cities, led to the deaths of over 2 million people, about 25% of Cambodia's population through starvation, forced labor, and executions, targeted intellectuals, professionals, and even those who wore glasses as enemies of the regime. Pol Pot's reign turned Cambodia into a land of silence, death, and trauma, leaving scars that persist to this day. 4. Idi Amin of Uganda. Idi Amin, the military dictator of Uganda, from 1971 to 1979, became infamous for his erratic and violent rule that turned the country into a place of fear. Overthrew the Ugandan government in a military coup, responsible for the deaths of 300,000 to 500,000 people through torture, executions, and ethnic persecution. Expelled over 60,000 Asians from Uganda, crippling the economy. Allegedly declared himself King of Scotland and embraced bizarre titles of power. Idi Amin's reign of terror combined violence with an almost surreal eccentricity. But his dangerous rule left Uganda broken and traumatized. Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Lastly, we look at Kim Jong-un, the current leader of North Korea, whose regime continues to be one of the most isolated and authoritarian in the world, expanded North Korea's nuclear weapons program, defying international sanctions, enforced strict control over citizens with surveillance, propaganda, and punishment for dissent, maintained notorious labor camps where human rights abuses are rampant, regularly threatens neighboring nations with military action and missile tests. Kim Jong-un's leadership keeps the Korean peninsula on edge, posing a constant threat to international peace and security. Please subscribe and turn on notification.